Okay. Talk to me, Cleveland. Welcome to Chill Talk. This is your brother Kevin Chill Hurd. We're here with our special guest, Leah Lewis. You missed all the introduction. Uh, and we're here with the super producer, Felicia Haney. But really quick, I'm going to say it all over again. So the people watching, you already heard this. But for the people that'll be watching it on YouTube, it's brand new to you. Filmmaker, Leah Lewis. Former councilwoman Leah Lewis, Reverend Dr. Leah Lewis, attorney at law Leah Lewis, book author Leah Lewis, national karate black belt, national karate champion Leah Lewis, and Leah, are you holding up three-time national champion? Okay, now I know I was 3 times. You sure you wasn't 2?
Wait a minute. Who knocked who out?
she going to that card already. Okay, we gonna rock with that one. 3-time national champion. Okay, so that means you joined me in 3 times national champion. Okay.
You want to get knocked out again.
So, and as we're alluding to, she once knocked me unconscious in a karate demonstration. It was anyway. We're here with Leah Lewis. Before we go to what Felicia was trying to tell us before, Sister Leah Lewis, you want to say hello?
Let me just say hello to all of your supporters. Chill, it's always a blessing to be with you and the super producer, Felicia Haney. So thank you for having me this evening. And I look forward to a fun-filled, fact-filled conversation.
Okay, now, super producer, go ahead and make the correction that you were making from last week.
I wanted to make a correction to those who joined us last week. On Thursday, we were getting a ticket this week, meaning today, for the upcoming Fred Hampton movie that was filmed here in Cleveland called Judas and the Black Messiah. But I was mistaken. So I had February 10th in my head, and I was thinking that was the screening date. But that was the date of our Wednesday show next week that we were supposed to be giving out the tickets. So in my head, I was thinking that it's an actual pre-screening. So we are not doing a screening. These aren't screening passes, but we'll be giving you guys Fandango passes. So when the film comes out on the 12th, next Friday, you will have a code to be able to watch it. So that's what it is. I apologize if you thought you were going to get your chance to get it today, but it does not mean that you won't have a chance. So tune in next week, and we'll definitely be giving those away. You can also win passes this Saturday as well. So I know that our guest, Miss Dr. Leah Lewis, is going to fill us in on why she's here, is about her film, Leo's Legacy. And if you watch Leo's Legacy this weekend, you will also have a chance to win tickets. So that is that.
Right. And as I added earlier, because people always ask me, and we're national around here. So people who aren't in Cleveland can also win. So whether you're in Atlanta, you're in Chicago, you're in Nashville, wherever you're watching the show, Chill Talk, as long as you can order tickets through Fandango, these codes will work so you can see the film wherever you are. But stay tuned to Chill Talk next week, where we will be giving away those codes, as the super producer just said. Also like to say hello to Sister LaDosha Wright, who is joining us watching.
LaDosha!
LaDosha was on the show last week. She was our special guest last week. So
well,
I gotta still come get my comb, LaDosha. I'm probably coming up tomorrow, so
okay,
I still gotta get my comb.
Dosh. Felicia's coming up to get her comb. Go ahead, Sister.
Yeah. Let me invoke that. LaDosha was in my initial documentary, which is still in development, called Black Buckeyes, A Tale of Two Cities. And so she gave us some great insight on natural hair care hair care as it is addressed and dealt with historically and contemporarily on the continent, the great continent of Africa.
Okay, now before we get into this film, this documentary that we will be showing that you created,
Mhm.
really quick, let us know about your book and what it is and where people can how they can order it.
Yeah, so Little Lumpy's Book of Blessings is my first book. It is available at Amazon. Make sure you get the hard copy for $18.95 or buy the Kindle edition. There are other folks selling my book and it's pricier, so get the $18.95 edition and you will be supporting my company, Three Butterflies Entertainment and Press LLC. And Little Lumpy's Book of Blessings is for readers up to 8 years old. It's based on my life growing up here in Cleveland, Ohio. And Little Lumpy is expressing to the reader what she's thankful for, her simple blessings like family, friends, playmates, and nature. So it's an adorable little book. It's an easy read for really bright kids, but it's very vibrant, very beautiful. And I thank you for your support.
All right, now Felicia, do you want to do the setup as we get ready to talk to Leah about the film and but its connection with G Cuff
Mhm.
and when and where and how uh, they can be attached to this project.
Sure. So I will actually post a flyer on the Chill Talk page. So um, you can definitely check it out there. Normally I would put it in the chat, but having a few technical difficulties, so I won't be able to do that right now. But you can register. It's this Saturday, which is February 6th. And does it start at 7 p.m.? I want to say 7 p.m. And it is showing, you can go to gcuff.org to register for the event. Really, you can register for a whole month long programming that GCUF is doing for Black History Month. And which we should have started out by saying, right, Chill? Like, we haven't had a show since February has started. Last week was
That's
still
correct.
January when we were on. So happy Black History Month to everybody. And we just want to celebrate, the history of the past, but also the history in the making, which is why we have Dr. Leah Lewis on here, who's really doing both. She's documenting the past, but she's making history with her film as well. So these are the kind of things that we want to continue to do. And here on Chill Talk, we want to keep putting those things in the spotlight. So if you go to GCUF, you can register for a pass for the whole month. But starting this Saturday, we will be doing Leo's Legacy, which is local too. So that's what's
Mhm.
kind of, like really dope about it, that this is like a local Cleveland story. So to know the history here with that. But I want you to hear it from the horse's mouth. So I would love for you, Leah, to kind of jump into this and tell us, give us like a synopsis of the film and maybe like some background on why you chose to do it.
All right. Well, again, the documentary is called Leo's Legacy, and it is based upon Leo's Casino, which was an entertainment venue here in Cleveland in the late 60s and early 70s. And it was often the first or second stop for Motown acts outside of Detroit. So people like Diana Ross and the Supremes performed there, Smokey Robinson and the Miracles. Stevie Wonder actually performed there when he was 14 years old. So they had to get a work permit for Stevie to be able to perform there. And you also had other entertainers who were not on Motown, like Red Fox performed there, Flip Wilson. And so it was a place that historically we understand was a entertainment venue where people of all ethnicities, African American, Black, white, you name it, went there and they socialized freely, without any problems. And they also permitted young people, if you were not of drinking age, you could go into Leo's and enjoy the performances, but you had to wear a Hawaiian lei so that the bartenders would know they could not serve you drinks.
No drinks for you.
No drinks for the youngsters, but I was told that many of youngsters tried to get rid of those leis, chill, but the bartenders already knew who they were. And so, we have one young lady who went there at the age of 12. Her older sister took her there, and she just fell in love with the experience. And so we really capture firsthand accounts from people, particularly African Americans, who still live in the Huff area and who want to bring that type of energy and that type of venue back to Huff, to the Midtown community. So we really document all of that. We look at it from a historical perspective, but also from a contemporary perspective in terms of some of the innovation and community engagement and organizing that folks are engaged in currently in Huff, Midtown, and in the city of Cleveland.
Well, certainly, Leah, anybody who grew up in Cleveland, Ohio, heard stories from their parents, their uncles, their grandparents, in many cases, about Leo's Casino. Leo's Casino is a historic. It is part of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame historical locations
So,
where it
brother
was at.
Chill, brother Chill, can I just interject?
Okay, we got brother Johnny Barnes. He can hang around. He helped us out
Hey, stop,
working.
man. That was very encouraging because it brought to memory that my big brother in Glenville High School had a singing group, and they won a talent show. And as winners of the talent show, they got to open for the Temptations at
What?
Leo's Casino. And I was able to sit there and had a front row table. I might have been 11 years old or so, something like that. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
this is very exciting, and I commend you for that.
Well, thank you. Well, thank you. I'm sure you had your Hawaiian lei on at the age of 11. And, it's always good. I have to tell you, I did this documentary in 2020. It was commissioned by Midtown Cleveland, Inc. And every time we invoke the subject of Leos, I learn something new, or I encounter somebody who had a firsthand experience. So it's just really been a very exciting project for me. And I want people to know, people are probably saying, well, where was Leo's? Where was it? Well, there were two locations, right? But Leo's Casino was at 75th and Euclid. If you were to go there today, you would go to the Aldi. So it's where the Aldi is, 75th and Euclid.
Okay. And Felicia knows that for many years that when we worked at the Call Post newspaper, the late great John Lanier, who was writer, excellence, business editor. Excuse me, just a second. Business. He was the business manager, sales manager, but John had been the maitre d at Leo's Casino and told us endless stories about his days as a maitre d at Leo. So it was just a chance to sit around and listen to him, and I'm glad, Leah, that you're able to bring to life this historic Cleveland landmark. So many people, as Brother Johnny Barnes just said, so many people have talked about Leo's Casino, but there's a generation who may have heard about it, but don't have the information. So, Leah, what led you? I know you said you were talking to people, and it kept coming up. What made you decide, okay, this is the project that I'm going to do right now for sure?
Well, again, I was asked to do it by Midtown Cleveland after Joy Carter, who's really my collaborator. She works for Midtown. She saw snippets of my first documentary, Black Buckeyes, A Tale of Two Cities. And she said, Leah, I need you to do this. And I actually had been in several meetings with a committee, a Midtown committee that had been talking about Leos. So I'm talking about Attorney Carolyn Allen, who was the first African American and the first female city safety director for the city of Cleveland under Michael White. I'm talking about Sister Williams, who went there. She just loved to dance and she could socialize. And just a myriad of people who had these vivid memories. And being a native Clevelander and not being of that generation and knowing about, let's be frank, Cleveland's racist history, it was so interesting to me that there was this nightclub where people of all ethnicities would come and socialize, and that this nightclub was not far from Glenville nor Huff, where we had what? The Glenville shootout and the Huff riots.
Right, sure.
Right. And so we're talking about this juxtaposition of Cleveland having a location where people were gathering around music, around art, and around comedy, but racism wasn't even an issue. Yet in the wider community, African Americans in this city were really fighting for equity and justice and being met with violence. And so that really intrigued me, that history and that juxtaposition.
Okay, now Felicia, super producer, give us some information, because not only will G Cuff, and for the people who don't know, that we're speaking of the Greater Cleveland Urban Film Festival, that organization. A lot of you know, many people are familiar with Alton Tinker and of course Donna Dabbs. So G Cuff is doing the screening, the screening of it, but this particular film is being sponsored by the Greater Cleveland Association of Black Journalists. And again, everybody knows, not only is Felicia and I members of GCLA BJ, but I'm currently the president of the Greater Cleveland Association of Black Journalists. So we're sponsoring this film, and we'll be having a talk back, I am to understand, after the film with panelists. Felicia and Leah can give us some information on the process of the screening and the talk back.
Well,
Sure.
Felicia, you go ahead. Well, let me just say that the talk back is going to be Saturday, February 6th at 7 p.m. And I'll be on a panel with Doug Patterson, who is an event and music producer, Dr. Fred Wheat, who I don't know, but as I understand, he has firsthand knowledge of Leo. So he's one of those individuals that I've come to discover in this process. And of course, none other than Kevin Chill Hurd will also be a part of that panel. Did you know that, Kevin?
Well, I was informed today by Rhonda Crowder that I was the moderator. Rhonda called me today and said I was she had talked to me about it, but they were trying to get, a moderator. And then today she said, no, Chill, you the moderator.
There it is.
So, I'm honored. It is my sister's film. Fred Wheat, that's my guy. Fred Wheat is he was band leader at Leo's Casinos for the last 5 years of his existence. So just to have those people on the panel. But Felicia, you want to give some other information about G Cuff and the talkback?
Well, actually, I wanted to ask Leah, because in speaking with people, we're trying to put this talk back together. I found it interesting that, like you said, Leah, you're still discovering people, even after you made the film, who had these connections. And when I was talking to people in terms of like who we could get to do this talk back, some things came up, and they're like, well, when they did the movie, who did they talk to, or because apparently there's different information going on about Leo's Casino. So I wanted to ask you, as a filmmaker, how do you interpret that into your film? Like, what is that research project like when there's different stories kind of swarming around?
So I have been told that there was a documentary that was shown at Western Reserve that really did not reflect the history of Leo's. I have also been told by people who have screened my documentary and who have said, okay, this was accurate. So let me just talk about the filmmaking process. And I know that I have two experts on this call with me, Kevin Hurd and Felicia Haney. So Leo's Legacy was produced in less than a year. If you do a documentary, most people know that it can take almost 4 to 5 years to do a documentary. We did not have that time. Again, this was a commissioned work. I did use Joy Carter in terms of outreach and interviewing people for the documentary. I also did research at the Cleveland Public Library, at Western Reserve, and at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And so I think I interviewed maybe up to 10 people who were involved in music and at Leo's. Now, did I get everybody? Obviously not, because I didn't even know about a Fred Wheat. His name didn't even come up in the conversations. But we have to accept that this place was in operation in the late 60s, early 70s. I had 1 year to do this documentary, and so there's still so much more to gain. And let me say this, I want to give this piece of information as educational. And I'm going to give a testimony here. So when I did Black Buckeyes, which is still in production, I said to the audience that I need to raise more money. I need to raise more money for Black Buckeyes, and I need to raise more money for Leo's. Why? Because I want both documentaries to be of broadcast quality. Now, what I'm going to say, I want to be very clear about. To have a broadcast quality documentary, a person needs to raise anywhere between $500,000 and $1 million. People don't understand that. They think I'm making that up. One woman went so far, Chill, as to email me and to accuse me of trying to take advantage of the community. Sister girl, if I want to get these documentaries on Netflix, on HBO, on even PBS, I have to raise far more money than I have been able to date to produce both Black Buckeyes and Leo's. But this is why it's so important for organizations like GCUF and the National Association of Black Journalists, the Cleveland chapter, to support these kinds of works, because we have to build on our audiences, meaning we have to build on our platform, and we have to create opportunities so that funders who fund documentaries will say, you know what, this is a worthwhile project. So Felicia, even though I haven't interviewed Mr. Wheat, trust and believe, as more money is raised, and I have to have money because the crew has to be paid for their time, as do I intend to interview Mr. Wheat. Now, the other thing that we did not do, which I intend to do, and this is just real, I intend to interview white folk who went to Leo's. To date, the project only features African-American voices. But as a result of doing Leo's—
white owned, was it not?
Right. Mr. Frank, Leo Frank, was
Right.
Right. However, but there were white people who went. And since coming out with the documentary, I've encountered white people who went to Leo's and who have heartwarming stories. And so understand that documentaries evolve. Documentaries, like everything, are made in a process. They are produced in a process. So what you will see on Saturday and throughout the month of February, consider it foundational. Consider it a springboard from which we will make progress.
Okay. All right.
Well,
And
all
I,
right.
Well.
well, and that's a lesson for the, I mean, the process of filmmaking, of doing documentaries. Somebody who has never been a part of that process.
Mhm.
Felicia has been a part of that process. I'm going through I'm going through the process now with the Cleveland hip hop history of Cleveland hip hop
Yep.
documentary, uh, and have certainly interviewed untold numbers of
Yeah.
people who have done documentaries. That just like a movie about an actual historic place, you will never ever encompass the totality of a person's life, of a generation, of a location. I don't care if the film is 10 hours long.
Right.
Uh, it'll still be people saying, well, they didn't tell the part about. But as filmmakers, and you may can talk about this, Leah. Filmmakers hope to do the best they can for the story that they're telling, with what they have to get the time that they have to get the story told. And that's just with any documentary.
Hmm. Yeah, and it's true, Kevin. I mean, we had a very limited budget for what you're going to see on Saturday and throughout the month of December. And production quality is tied to the dollars raised for the film. However, I believe we put forth a very high quality product for what we have, and we told an accurate and authentic story. But of course, as Kevin just said, there's so much more that can be told. And over the course of time, as we raise more funds, we will get more data. And then what happens is the magic of editing takes place. And we're going to incorporate new elements and tell what hopefully will be an even tighter, richer, deeper story. But documentaries evolve. So this is an evolving work. And most documentary filmmakers will have two, three, four, maybe even five iterations or five edits of a film before it is actually completed and broadcast. So it's process, and we just need people to be patient, come with an open mind when you come to the viewing, and just enjoy it, because there is music, there are people reminiscing about the great time they had at Leo's, and there's definitely historical data about life in Cleveland in the 60s and 70s.
Well, I just want to add that we have people watching. So what's going on? Of course, LaDosha, brother Sean jumped in there. Alan Davis, brother Sue Tech, my man. What's going on, bruh? You got your karate people watching. I believe Gino McCulley
Hey,
is
Gino.
is watching. From our black belt clan is watching. But what's interesting is my mother just signed on.
All right, Mother Heard.
She says uh, that her and my dad. Okay, let's see if we can
What?
get Felicia in here. Let's see if this is gonna help. My mother is on the thread saying that her and my dad went there often, and in
Wow.
fact, they saw. She said they saw BB King there.
All right.
I don't know who they left. One of those crazy crew of babysitters they had me dealing with, but yeah. So my mom, as I said, we've all heard about these stories. So now my mom has joined in and said that her and my dad went there often,
Good.
and saw BB King there. So she's going to be interested in, and I know she's proud of you,
Yes.
um,
Love Mother Heard.
even though you knocked me out, but
And she gets a kick out of that every time we tell
oh
that story.
man, she's dying about that every single time. But again, you guys, that's going to the screening and the talk back about it will be on Saturday.
Hmm.
I just, as I found out yesterday, that I will be the moderator of of the talk back. Uh, So what's going on to my big brother Stephen Boyd in the building? So what's going on, Stephen Boyd? But yeah, and I've done stories on Fred Week for, and I've traveled to
Wow.
with Fred Week to Detroit to the famous Fox Theater,
Mm.
where in obviously in Detroit in Motown, where many
Mm-hmm.
Motown acts, and we had some things going on, and we went down there to the Fox Theater
Yeah.
and saw, it was part of a Marvin Gaye event in Detroit. But yeah,
Mm.
that's my guy. But I'm looking forward to this. And so now Leah, the people that you do have,
Mm-hmm.
how did you find them? Did they hear
Yeah.
about you were doing this, or and how excited were they to be able to talk about this famous location?
Well, Joy Carter, again, who I mentioned, who works for Midtown, has been working with members of the community. They've been doing these things called Leo's listening parties. And I believe the first one was in like 2018. And when people heard the name Leo's, they were galvanized. And they were like, yeah, I went there as a young person. And so they started having these concerts, chill. And like hundreds of people have come to these concerts. And so it was through this dynamic that Joy started to find the people who were associated with either Leo's or WJMO, right? Who were involved in music. Some were producers, some were DJs. A number of these people went to Leo's, and that's why they came to the concerts. And so that's how I found people initially. And so, really, it is Joy Carter and the team at Midtown Cleveland that found the initial crew of people. But since again coming out with the documentary, other people have emerged as critical figures that we do need to interview as we go forward.
Okay. Now, and anybody else did you want to shout out that was involved in putting this together?
Oh,
Because it's a
Lord.
it's a staff. I don't want to get you in trouble by not naming everybody, but I know how much work goes in and support that you need as a filmmaker to get a project like this done.
Yeah, you do. And I had a pretty good team, a crew. I will give one person a shout out, Georgie Lasso, who was my editor. She kind of went through some fits and starts on getting this edit done, but I'm very pleased with what she captured. So I'm going to give Georgie a shout out. Michael Berry worked on the project. I know he has a huge following in the city of Cleveland. And so there were some other folks who were involved, but those are the two I'll give the shout out to.
Okay, we appreciate that. So now, again, make sure you see this film. Make sure you participate in the talk back with Leah. So it's going to be Leah yourself,
Mm-hmm.
of course, Fred Wheat. What's the other brother's name?
I'm gonna get it for
Is it
you.
Don? Is it somebody? Okay, I don't know.
Patterson, Mr. Patterson,
Mr.
yeah.
Patterson.
Mr. Patterson, who is a music producer, event producer, well known. He actually produced one of the Leo listening party concerts. So he'll be there, and we're going to have a very full discussion
Okay.
about Leos.
Now, I also again want to say for people who are watching the show, able to get all this information, get get information about the screening and the talk back, upcoming films, Judas and the Black Messiah. Free tickets for that if you want to donate to Chill Talk. It is pinned in the chat box. You can just show your love, as Arsenio would say. What's going on, Garth, in the building? You can drop us something in Cash App at $money to chill, the number two, money to chill, to support Chill Talk. And I don't know if I saw Felicia may have changed. I don't know if you're able to get on camera now, Felicia. I see you've changed to a new. Uh,
Yeah, I'm still not able to get on here though. I'm not sure
oh my
why.
goodness. Okay. Well, because you have your fans that they expect to see fashionista Felicia, that want to see you as well. But yeah, please, support the show. The people, I appreciate the people that watch the show, share the show. especially filmmakers are gonna love this. And we'll run this again on our YouTube, on the YouTube channel. So stay available to see that. Leah, what is it? And Felicia may have some more questions, but where can people find you? Find some of the things in your social media outlets.
Yeah, I would say, first of all, check out my nonprofit website, because that will link you to a bunch of stuff. And that website is called Little, Little, Lumpy, Lumpy.com. Little Lumpy's Book of Blessings is my children's picture book. And Little Lumpy was my nickname when I was a kid.
I thought it was because of the lump you gave me when you lumped me up and knocked me unconscious.
That's an alternative narrative, Kevin. I may start using that one. But yeah, check me out at littlelumpy.com. My for-profit website is actually, we're having some challenges right now, but it's 3butterfliesllc.com. Hopefully it'll be up in the next couple of days. And you can see additional information about Leo's legacy and my other dog, Black Buckeyes.
Okay, before we let Leah go, I also want to, for the people who missed it at the beginning, also let you, as I stated before, as we talk about Black History Month, as Felicia brought about, I'm always proud to acknowledge that Black History Month as a month was born at Kent State University and created by students at Kent State University with the help of a few faculty members. Shout out to Dr. Crosby. But a few of the Black United students, members at Kent State University, came up with the idea of a month, put it in motion. It was the first time it had ever been celebrated at a university, acknowledged on the state calendar, later picked up by Cleveland Congressman Louis Stokes, where it eventually made it to Washington, D.C. and became a national thing as a month. So we'll be talking some more as we talk about, we lost our one of our dear professors and friends, Dr. Tim Moore, was one of those early Black United students, leaders at Kent State University. So he went was a student leader to a loved professor at the Black Studies Department. Also, make sure, and we'll be talking about it during Leah's event that the Greater Cleveland Association of Black Journalists is sponsoring the film as well as the talk back, and that we will also be talking about our fundraising event, Love Letters, starring Sandra Bishop and the iconic Black journalist, broadcaster in Cleveland, Mr. Leon Bibb. So stay tuned for that. If you can go to my website and you can go to my Facebook page, on my personal page, or on the ChillTalk page, and look for Love Letters, or just go to Eventbrite and find out about Love Letters, and please be a part of that. It's going to be something great. So as we get ready to close out with my sister,
yes, indeed.
Again, many filmmakers in Cleveland, many people with their own projects. You were, lucky enough to be, people reached out to you because of a previous project that they knew you about. So I guess also it's good to have a good name. Some people can, you can do more projects.
Yeah, absolutely.
What was the, and tell us a little bit more about the initial project. That we know that my BFF LaDosha is a part of that project. Yeah. Tell us about that, because that kind of gave birth to this, correct?
Absolutely. So my first documentary, which is also still in production, is called Black Buckeyes, A Tale of Two Cities. And we're going to do a comparative analysis of the lived and historical realities of African Americans in Cleveland and Cincinnati. Why these two cities? First of all, Ohio is the only state in the Union with 2 cities that are in the top when it comes to poverty. So both Cleveland and Cincinnati are deemed impoverished cities based on statistics. But Cleveland is significant because it was a destination in the Great Migration, the Midwestern stream. Cincinnati, as we know, is significant because our ancestors who were enslaved and who endeavored to run away desired to reach the Ohio River and cross over into it into free territory. And so Cincinnati was a destination. Cincinnati is also significant because it is a city that had at least one race riot every century since the 1700s. So when you talk about the African American experience, you really cannot get away from talking about the state of Ohio, these 2 particular cities, Cleveland and Cincinnati. And when work has been done, Chill, on the Great Migration in particular, we don't have a documentary of significance and of note on Cleveland. There are documentaries on Detroit. There are documentaries on Chicago. And so I want to change that. We've done a significant amount of filming in Cleveland. We need to raise more funds so we can go to Cincinnati. And again, my goal is to make both documentaries broadcast quality.
Okay, and look who popped up. And see, because I think Brother Amir said, Fashionista Felicia, where you at? Oh, is that what it took to get you to pop up on there? Okay, all right, Felicia.
Looking fabulous, looking fabulous.
I think all that was just a wardrobe change shenanigans. Felicia, you're on mute. But I think all of that was a wardrobe change. I think all of that time led up to this. I'm just saying.
I will acknowledge Leah's comment and say thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
All right. Well, we're glad you can join us now. Is there any other information, Felicia, that you want to give us about G-Cuff while we're here? And I don't know if you heard, I did give a shout out to about love letters. But yeah, anything else you want to give us about G-Cuff and how people can participate in all the things that they do?
Not really, other than what I told you. There's this month-long programming going on for Black History Month. So make sure that you download or redeem a pass for that. It's free. Feel free to make a donation, but you are not required to enjoy the programming. So yeah, make sure you snag that pass and you get to watch a bunch of cool programming for free. So why not? And if you want to stay up to speed, you can follow G-Cuff at G-Cuff Cleveland on Instagram as well as Facebook. And that's pretty much it. Stay up to speed there. Once you RSVP or redeem your pass, you can also opt to be on the mailing list to receive things via email, so you can you'll always know what's going on. But if you're more of a social media type, make sure you follow G-Cuff online.
Okay, and for ChillTalk viewers, just so we have together for anybody that's just joining us or seeing it later, they can watch the show next week to win entry to the theater to see Judas and the Black Messiah. Is that correct?
Yes. We'll have codes for you to be able to redeem passes for that. So we might actually have some swag for you guys as well. So that is in the works. Let me say that I am working on getting the swag for you, but I just want to say shout out to Nice Co Printing Company. They gave me this sweatshirt here. I'm rocking. It's their Juneteenth sweatshirt, but hey, it's Black History Month, so we gonna rep Juneteenth as well. And yeah, check them out. But we're trying to get some swag from them. They've got some people's free food program, like a line of shirts and hoodies that they've done that we want you guys to have. And you can wear it when you watch the movie. So,
All right, we're gonna let my sister, Doctor Leah
Well,
Lewis, take us out. Anything you want to tell the audience? Talk any last minute things about the project, about what they're gonna see and be a part of with G Cuff and the GCLABJ, or
yeah.
just into your fans and family in general.
Well, I just want to thank you and Felicia and Rhonda Crowder and the folks at the National Association of Black Journalists, Cleveland chapter. And I certainly have to give Donna Dabbs and Otis, a shout out. What G Cuff has been doing for what? Now they're entering their 10th year is phenomenal, and the way in which they support African American filmmakers, particularly in Cleveland. I just want to salute them. I thank you all for your love and your support. This really is a family affair for us. Chill and I go back, I'm not going to tell you how many decades, but, we've been rocking ever since. And again,
Right.
it's a family affair, and it's nothing but love. When you see the Leo's Legacy documentary, I think that's what you're going to see too. You're going to see people who have a love for their community, a love for their people, and a love for our history. And so I think it is appropriate that Leo's Legacy is going to be showcased this month. So I just thank you all. I say come and join us on Saturday, be a part of the conversation. And if you have firsthand experience with Leos, reach out to me. Let's have a conversation, because we are not done yet. And we are going to keep working on this documentary until it really is honed and polished in all that we in the city of Cleveland need it to be. So Chill, thank you. Felicia, thank you.
absolutely. In the spirit of Black History Month, is there anything that you can share from your process of doing this that maybe that you learned throughout this
Wow.
process, that you didn't know before, or that was some point in Black history? So I'll share mine. I'll say
Okay. Okay.
that.
I need time to ponder.
I'm not
Yes.
the
Yes.
filmmaker,
Okay.
but I'll share
Mhm.
mine. And actually, I haven't done the research on it, so you can probably tell me if this is correct. So
Mhm.
I was aware that Otis Redding had passed away on his leaving Cleveland on his way
Yep.
to his next venue. But I
Yep.
was not aware. I knew he was leaving
Mhm.
Cleveland, but I was not aware that his last performance was at Leo's
It
Casino.
was.
Is that
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah. And
Okay.
that would have been my historical point to lift up.
Okay.
Yes, yes. Otis Redding, before he died, his last performance was at Leo's, and we all know that his plane crashed in the Great Lakes states, right? I forget which lake it was, but to have that figure, that significant figure in African American music and rock and roll perform in Cleveland before he perished is significant. And that's something we mention, but it's something I would love to delve into a little deeper. And, again, Leo's is just significant. It's significant for the OJs. It's significant for Bobby Womack. I mean, we're talking about Cleveland legends who got a start at a landmark institution in our city. And so it is rich. I mean, and Mr. Wheat will correct me and inform me on Saturday when we talk, but I didn't come across any white folks who performed at Leo. And so this was really an African American venue, forged in part because of Leo Frank's relationship with the founder of Motown, Berry Gordy. And so we had this cross-cultural relationship that really forged an outstanding historical venue in the city of Cleveland. And, there weren't places in the South where Black folks and white folks could go and enjoy, music and comedy together at that era, So this is landmark. This is a national landmark for me and not just a local landmark. What happened at Leo's was significant, and our people, as usual, were the tastemakers and the culture makers. And so that's why this story is significant.
All right. Well, you already know you just said anybody else that had been there. Now, my mama already said I saw BB King. The thrill was gone when I saw him there. But yeah, no. So also want to give a shout out to brother Garth Woodson who joined us. Of course, brother Amir, brother Daniel Harris, my man. Hey, Daniel Harris, I missed the good words that you would give me to get things going. Also, what's going on to my sister Cheryl Clark? Clark Bar was cracking. I'm gonna roll up the Whitmores and get some wings from you. But yeah, so all the people that are watching, feel free to share this, to spread the news about this film, this dynamic filmmaker, and the things that are going on with the Greater Cleveland Urban Film Festival, as well as the Greater Cleveland Association of Black Journalists. Everybody needs your support, as well as ChillTalk.
That's right.
It's just a win-win all around the board. I mean, it's like, come on, you get to lesson in history, you get to be entertained, you get some free stuff. I mean, to come and see another movie, it's just, it just makes sense. Why not be there? So make sure you're there this Saturday.
Okay. Now you said you didn't know of any white people to perform there. My white cousin, Blind White Willie, the harmonica player, played. No, I'm just playing. All right.
What's Blind White Willie? Somebody get Blind White Willie on the phone.
Blind Willie, get Blind White Willie. Blind White Willie used to kill the harmonica down there. But yeah, no, we appreciate you having you here, Leah. And I'm going to be talking to you about some other things that I may have going on that, but we will talk. And I'll talk to you tomorrow anyway about some other things that we discussed.
Okay. Sounds good.
We up out of here. Felicia Haney, thanks for, I know you had to run out and go get that hoodie and get your face all beat and all you didn't have to go through all that. We love you just the way you are. Had to take us through all those shenanigans and malarkey.
I was out here working on the grind.
You had to get redone just to show back up, acting like the connection wouldn't work. But anyway, we up out of here. We love y'all. You know how we always do it at the end of Chill Talk. Cleveland, we love you. Peace. We out, guys.